Well, damn, I messed that one up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what the is going on? Bitcoin making a nice move to the upside, all because of what? Word on the street is that it's just down to institutional involvement. Yeah, that helps. But you've also had a wonderful bond auction. Like, what is going on with this market? It's true to say that the participants in this market are scared they're missing out on a really big thing. Tariffs are no longer a problem. Trump's been throwing out tariff upon tariff. Fed speakers have been like, yeah, we're probably going to get a little bit of a price increase with the tariffs, but inflation might tick up a little bit, but nothing to be too concerned about. I mean, the labor market's doing all right. But Bitcoin has made a very interesting move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen, and already the price projections of 155K are coming in, and in tonight's live stream, it's going to break it all down for you on what news is hitting the marketplace, and I'm going to explain why maybe 155K could be a possibility, or is this the top? The question is this the top? And that's what's on everybody's minds, because everyone is trying to run shorts on Bitcoin and they keep on paying the price. So if you are, hold on, what does the black shirt mean? The black shirt means I'm wearing a black shirt, man. There's no color coordination or anything that has anything to do. Listen, the black shirt for me it means it's business. You know, we're at all-time highs right now, and this is where it gets interesting. The idea of price discovery means that, is it just going to continue? At what point will the market say, nope, we don't care, we're going to pull it back down? Or the flip side to that is just continue straight back up. So we're going to try and keep this live short and sweet. I say that all the time, but I did do a short live today. So I'm going to try and do the same thing tonight for you and let you guys go about your day. Let's get with the program. So, fresh record, that's what they're saying. So the bond market has really given investors quite a bit of optimism, even though they're concerned about the US deficit. They're probably crunching the numbers together in regards to the fact that maybe with Trump and these tariffs, and if we are going to get a 300 basis point cut, that's what's been thrown about. Trump wants 3 whole points off the interest rates. That is wild. But when you break it down, it does actually make sense as, I mean, it's a very quick cut. The same way the Fed was aggressive to increase, it's the same way that they can aggressively decrease the interest rates. But what's that going to do with the US deficit? Because that is the main thing that investors are concerned about. The article goes on to talk about quite a few things. The $22 billion sale of the 30-year bonds showed risk appetite. Investors were favoring that. Look at that, man. Quickly going over to the 30-year bonds, you can see that they've been pulling back. This is on the 4-hour time frame, so they've pulled back quite aggressively on the yields. That means investors are picking up interest in the 30-year. However, let's just quickly go over to some problem that we've got. This bad boy right here, dollar. Dollar dominance is slowly climbing up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sleep on dollar because it's doing something. I mean, today, like, we've had your Fed speakers. What's going on there? Yeah, we've had our Fed speakers. You've also had the unemployment claims today, your 30-year bond auction. Let's just have a look at the bid to cover ratio on that. Yeah, that bid to cover ratio was pretty decent. Well, flat on 2.4, but they came in on the yields of 4.89. So that's pretty happy days for the bonds market, which does give you the idea of confidence in investors, okay? But let's just pay attention to what's going on in the space of cryptocurrency. Quickly breaking it all down. Bitcoin's made a nice sweep towards that, just narrowly missing that 114,000. But let's just understand what's actually triggering this move to the upside. So we go through a couple of articles right here. Firstly, 10 public companies. Now, this is for anyone that is thinking, you know what, I don't want to get involved in Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin, or you may hold already a bit of Bitcoin. And if these guys are going to mimic the strategy that Strategy have been employing, where they just continuously buy Bitcoin and add it as part of their treasury, then these lists of companies right here might actually help you out. And you could actually take advantage of these companies. So here are the public companies that you want to focus on. Not so much these companies right here, but it's these companies, the main companies that are on the stock market. So you've got Strategy itself has got 597,000 Bitcoin. We know that's a lot of Bitcoin, and that's by Mr. Michael Saylor. He's been buying it all up. Then you've got Mara Holdings, and then you've got SEP, which is a newer entrant, 21 Capital, and you've got Riot Platforms, MetaPlanet. You've also got Galaxy Digital Holdings, CleanSpark, Tesla, Hut Mining, Hut 8 Mining Corp, and of course, Coinbase. Now, the list of these companies right here would be worth going in and doing a bit of a deep dive and looking to see if they are correlated to the way Bitcoin's price moves. But quite frankly, they're part of the stock market. So whatever's going on in the stock market naturally is going to be happening in cryptocurrency. However, saying that, look at Bitcoin and then look at the stock market right there. Stock market's not doing its thing. Quickly going over to the volume on the stock market for the day, we had an accumulation day yesterday where volume became above average. We're just narrowly missing that average. It is coming in lower than yesterday's, but price is still stuck up there. And it's not really clearing ground, which is making me think, hold on a second, what are they waiting for? If they're not breaking out, what's going on? Which could mean that there is a little bit of a rotation happening. Have you noticed the stock market's going sideways, but Bitcoin cryptocurrency is shooting up? So when the stock market goes up, Bitcoin's going sideways. So there could actually be a bit of a rotation happening. Quickly going over into the Arkham, we can see that there's the balance. I don't understand why they're not updating this just yet. Here we go. There it is. 700,000 Bitcoin. Guys, that's going to 1 million. It's easy going to 1 million. Easy. I mean, looking at the purchases right here, ARK Invest has been buying a little bit of Bitcoin as well. Wisdom Tree, nothing of BlackRock yet. Nothing's coming into play other than yesterday where we saw a little bit of Bitcoin, but we've seen some purchases coming into play in the Arkham. More importantly, let's go and have a look at the miners. What are the miners up to? Which is going to put things into perspective. Are they selling? Here we go. So miners ain't selling. But that was done. Yeah, that's today. Miners aren't selling the Bitcoin. When this purple line shoots up, it tells you that miners are selling. So it looks like they're retaining their Bitcoin, which quite frankly means what? Means that they're not really selling to have to actually raise capital to get on the rigs and start making or mining Bitcoin, okay? Because that's what they did before. They were selling Bitcoin quite aggressively so that they could raise the capital to start mining and keeping the mining process going, because now, of course, with the halving, it's now going to cost more power per se to actually achieve the creation of a block per se, or authorization of a block. What has NASDAQ just done? NASDAQ just took a little bit of a snap back down, ladies and gentlemen. Just a small little pullback, which is standard at these times right now. Anyways, let's just park that for a second. So 155K, let me just break it down for you. Now, we just had some news that the Emirates goes duty-free with Bitcoin. It says here that Emirates seduces international and local travelers with Bitcoin as a seamless payment method across aviation services. Well, that is brilliant, especially in Dubai, because we know people are going back and forth all the time in Dubai. So that is going to be a good thing for cryptocurrency. Now, you've got this here. It says here, this gentleman, where is it? Merlin the trader. He turns around and says that this is Bitcoin's last wave before the storm, okay? And it says that it's getting ready to peak up towards the 5th wave, and then it's going to get ready to correct back down to what looks like, let's just have a look at that. Where is the price point that he's looking at right there? Here we go. Yeah, he's projected it to come back down towards the 71,000, the 61,000. Quite frankly, all right, if this works out the way it's being played here in terms of wave, that should take us to Fed pivot. That should be the Fed pivot. Look at where we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 19 days until the Fed pivot, or should I say until the federal FOMC press conference. Investors are already betting for the rates to stay the same, but God knows what's going to happen. If from now until that day, if Powell were to retire or Trump just manages to get rid of Powell and replaces him, we could get some really crazy things happening as we get towards this FOMC. But I personally believe that they couldn't, I don't think they would do something like that where they would aggressively cut so much in one instance. I think they would admit that there is a cut that's coming into play. But I mean, if you go back historically and look at when they do things differently on the Fed pivot, when they pull out surprises, the market tends to react. I mean, the last time they pulled a surprise, just one that I can pull off the top of my head, was the bond massacre of 1974, when they were expecting the Fed to do something and they did the complete opposite, which then created the bonds to just take a shoe bag to the downside and completely get wiped out. So it'll be very interesting. NASDAQ, what are you doing, son? What are you doing? Why are you going down? What is happening to you, NASDAQ? Bitcoin, what are you doing? Nothing. Lovely. Bitcoin is coming out with the XRP formation. But anyway, speaking of formations and what have you, Ethereum. So I don't know if you heard about this, but a certain treasury purchase has happened by a company called SharpLink. And they have been clearing, the purchase has been done by SharpLink, and they are effectively, it's priming Ethereum to go to 3,153. And they've purchased so far $533 million worth of Ethereum. So naturally, you're going to think, yeah, okay, is Ethereum going to get ready and take out that 3K mark? It's not too far away from it, if I'm quite frank with you all. Looking at the highs, here we go. It's not too far away. I mean, is it possible for Ethereum to make a claim towards that point? Of course it is. And that's what I'm going to break into right now about Bitcoin going into 155K range. So check this out. So in front of you, I'm going to be pulling up the idea of Bitcoin and its ADR. So if you're using the hybrid system, ladies and gentlemen, you then will understand that the ADR is the average daily range. And if you want to understand more about this, on the Traders Reality website, there is a free course that you can utilize with regards to that. I mean, this is the PDFs that I've got up here. That's for the platinum members, where it's various strategies on the hybrid system where you can just read the document and it's going to give you exactly everything that you need about that strategy. So if you like vector candles, or you like V-shaped reversals, or you want to know about the red vector candle or the block trade principle and the Brinks box strategy, it's all there for you in the platinum membership. So you get access to those and you can download all those and do whatever you wish with them, print them off, do whatever. But anyways, with that being said, that's on the Traders Reality website, but do the free course because it's going to show you how to understand what I'm talking about right now. So Bitcoin's average daily range for a day is 206,578 pips. That's the smallest change in price. Okay. Now we want to go towards 150,000. Is it possible for Bitcoin to go to 150,000 anytime soon? So let me just get my little line up here and mark off 155 there or thereabouts. Okay. So that's where his 155K is. Now we have to look at it in terms of a monthly swing or maybe a weekly swing. Okay, so from the current price point, ladies and gentlemen, that Bitcoin's at right now, we move it all the way up towards there, and that gives us effectively 4,188,618 pips. That's the smallest change in price. So look at the price of Bitcoin right now. You see where it says 11 right there? Well, when it changes after the decimal, that smallest change from 0.2 to 0.1 means it's the smallest percentage point change. Okay, that is a pip. So that means that Bitcoin in principle from now to the 155 mark means that it will travel 4.18 million pips. Now, how long will it take to do that, right? So we look at the average monthly range and it says that Bitcoin in principle can move up 1,923,895 pips, okay? So hold on a second. That's the average monthly range. So logic says if it's going to travel to 155K, it should take, in principle, just shy of 2 months. Okay? It's going to take Bitcoin 2 months to get to 155K. And that is on the premise that we have the average monthly range, which is top side of it, that's how much money, that's how many pips it's going to travel, okay? So if it travels on the average monthly range to the upside or to the downside, but because we're favoring higher prices, we know that Bitcoin on a month is going to move up 1.92 million, okay? That's how you establish that, right? Now, when you look at the ADR on a weekly basis, right, the average daily range is how far can Bitcoin travel on a day-to-day, right? The average weekly range is how far can Bitcoin travel on a weekly range. So if we're looking at the month, okay, there's 4 weeks in that, right? So we know that Bitcoin on a weekly range is going to travel 800,240.6, 824,060 pips to the upside or to the downside, all right? That's what we're looking at. But for the 155K point, Bitcoin is going to travel approximately, take 2 months to get to it because it's going to take 2 million pips to do that. Okay. So I'm saying that from now till the next 2 months, Bitcoin realistically should achieve the 155K. Will it be so simple as a nice pump to the upside? No, it won't. Because what you've got to understand is this: Bitcoin could move up 1.5 million pips, and it takes it to there. Could also retrace back down nearly 600,000 pips. Could come back up again, come back down, come back up, and then stall. Then in the next month, it could move up a little bit, come back down. But the average of the pips themselves might actually change based on the way Bitcoin behaves. So don't make the mistake of thinking that it's going to travel 2 million pips, okay? It's on the next month. But if it's going to continue higher, it will start eating away at that pip accumulation. So price should, in principle, over the next 2 months, achieve 2 million pips. And the higher this number goes, the more volatility there is in Bitcoin. The lower that number is, the less volatility that Bitcoin has. So what you've got to do is you've got to look at the way price is from the start of the month. So let's just go to the start of the month right now. That puts us right here on the start of the month, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's just look at it. On the average monthly range, it's going to travel nearly 2 million pips, so 1.9 million pips, right? How many pips has it traveled so far? So from the monthly candle open right there, going all the way to the top side, Bitcoin has already traveled 800,000 pips. Okay, that's good news. All right, so we're nearly just shy of nearly 50% of that average monthly range. Okay, so if we assume that it's going to travel like that again, so let's just get rid of all this so it's clear for you. We take that same amount, and if it does the same thing from here, that puts us all the way up to just nearly the 2 million. Okay, so it's actually 1.92 million from the actual open there to the actual point here, and then to this point right there. So that gives us another 2 million. Okay, so then if we then take that point and then assume that it's going to travel the same amount of pips, that will take us to that point right there. And then hopefully it does it again for the next month. So what are we on there? So we're now on the 10th of July. That will then take us towards the 20th or the 30th of July, 20th of July. This should take us to the 30th of July. And then, of course, we then have the 1st of August. That should, in principle, take us up to this range right here. And then from that point, we are 1st of August right there. And then, of course, 20th of August will take us all the way up towards that point-ish. Wait, let me just mark it off correctly. So it's right there. Happy days. Assuming it does the same on the average, right? Assuming it does just under 1 million pips every week. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe less than 4 weeks, less than a month. Who knows? On the basis that it does 1 million pips. But that's not going to be the case because Bitcoin could simply do this. It can go up, down. Where is it? It can go up. It can go down. It can then shoot up, then come back down. It can then go up, come back down, consolidate, and then shoot up straight away. So that's how you use the ADR to help you understand how likely Bitcoin is going to travel from one point to the next. So yeah, I'm just saying within 2 months, Bitcoin's going to be hitting 155K. How mad is that? Powell and Trump are working together to get trade deals done. Chaos theory. After they are done, they will cut. Really? You think they're going to cut? I know they're going to cut. But there is a possibility. I mean, Jamie Dimon said that there's a possibility that the Fed could actually hike. Do you understand what that would do? If the interest rates were to be increased, holy shoot. I'm telling you now, you would have a bloodbath across the board. You really would. NASDAQ would just collapse. It would sharply correct. But you've got to understand, look at how many people have been selling, right? There's a lot of insiders are selling at these highs. There ain't no one buying stock, ladies and gentlemen. When you start seeing news articles saying, are you going to buy Nvidia now? You know that's a problem. When Jensen's got an $835 million sale process happening right now, where he's just dumping Nvidia shares, dumping it. It's going to dump nearly $1 billion worth of Nvidia shares when we're in a bull run. Of course you are. Because you've got madmen coming out buying it. You just need to offload it to someone. It's tit for tat, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth. Tino, when quantitative easing. I believe, right, that I think I'm going to put my... I'm not going to say I'm going to put money on it, right? But I do believe that we're going to get... If inflation goes up, okay, on the next reading, because they're all talking down on these tariffs. Remember, we haven't got no Eurozone beef yet. Any deals yet. There's no Eurozone deals. What's happened to China? Yeah? What's this war with Iran and Israel? What's going on there? It's gone all quiet, hasn't it? I actually believe that inflation could come in at a surprise because there's just too much cut the rates. And in my opinion, I think that they're going to get a surprise reading on the inflation. I really think that's going to be the case because you've got too many people working, right? The unemployment claims haven't been structured to the point where it's a concern for them, but it's less people claiming benefit. That means people are still in there. And you've got oil sort of creeping upwards, okay? Where is it? Yeah, you've got oil. It's going up, it's coming down. Where is it? There you go. Yeah, so oil's moving up and it's also coming back down. I'm expecting to come and recover this vector. But the thing is, if he's really going to be putting a tax on copper or the tariff on copper, that's going to hurt the consumers. They're going to naturally then influence that in prices of goods and services, which means that the core price index is going to go higher. And the Fed's going to look at the core price index and say, you know what? Nah, if the cost of goods and services is going up, that means inflation is more than likely to go up. They're thinking that tariffs, yes, they may come across as deflationary, but the deficit's going up. And at what point is it going to get where the investors are like, hold on a second, why am I going to go and buy stock now at these premium prices? It doesn't make sense. There's not been any consolidation. There hasn't been. It's just continuously moving up. It's a freak show. All right. So I'm waiting for the point of a discount. I mean, how many of you right now are happy to buy Bitcoin? How many of you are buying Bitcoin at 114,000 nearly? That's the question. Rates will go up when they cut, just like last time. Rates will go up when they cut, just like last. Yeah, I get all of that, man. I get it. But for me, it's the price of oil. And if investors don't like the situation, all right, and the deficit keeps on going up, they're just going to go over to oil, and oil's going to start the trigger. And when everyone sees oil going up, that means they're pricing in the idea of concerns and worries. So they're gonna plow into oil. I believe oil isn't done. I believe it's going to go higher. Tino, stronger dollar is better for the economy. Inflation will never go away until you have lenders and borrowers. Well, listen, all the credit swaps, all the credits and the loans that have been put out there. Haven't I got that up? No. So basically, if you look at the last couple of live streams, I spoke about the relationship of the credits, okay, and credit between banks and consumers and what have you. And usually when you've got the credit swap going down, it says that things are okay. When the credit swap line's going up, it implies that there is a liquidity issue. And if it's going up, that's no good. Now, that chart is showing that it's starting to tick higher, okay? So it's the premium credit facility, okay? And that's starting to tick higher. And the last time it started to move up above zero, okay, that's when you had a nice little crash just before the start of 2022, okay? So credit seems to not be a problem, but the deficit's going up and it's at all-time highs. So what's going on? That's the question. Moonboys will hit my offers at 113 offers placed. Tino, should we buy XRP right now? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the point where I end up ending the live stream. Now, listen, seriously, mad love and respect, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's live stream. Trying to keep it short and sweet for you. I'm going to be going to update the Platinum members on what to expect going into the Asian session because this is a significant move in Bitcoin and I need to mark off a couple of levels to help those guys understand what we can expect going into the last day tomorrow because, you know, tomorrow is Friday and Friday tends to be a very interesting day. Given that being said, we don't really have that much to worry about in terms of news. So it's going to be a clean day tomorrow unless Trump, because he's been pretty quiet, he's been talking wet, but he hasn't said anything to really rock the markets. So with that being said, mad love and respect. Subscribe, hit the like button on the way out, guys, and I'll be tuning into you all tomorrow. All right? Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace. Pay yourselves and sell XRP. Simple. That's what you got to do. No more price projections for XRP, man. I'm not doing it anymore. Never again.